Hey guys, and welcome to my next video and my next Slayer guide. So today I'm going to be showing you the Dark Beasts. So if you haven't noticed already, I'm going for them in alphabetical order. So if you're waiting for one that you want, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to wait if it's like Firewatch or something, because I think Firewatch is last. But I'm doing one a week, and I'm sorry if you are looking forward to one in particular, but there's no other way I can do it. I mean, I want to just go through them in order. It's just common sense to go through them in order. But if you really do want to see a certain guide, just post it in the comments, and if it does get a lot of thumbs up, I'll try and do that earlier if you really want me to. Because I know I've had a couple of requests for doing the steel dragons and like myth dragons and things like that. But please just post it in the comments if you really want me to do one before, and leave others till later. I've had actually a few requests for a skeletal wyverns guide, despite saying that the Slayer task is not worth doing. However, I know the bones are going for bank at the minute, and so a lot of people want to know how to kill skeletal wyverns. So I may possibly do that, but not as a Slayer guide, but just simply as a guide in general. So Dark Beasts are a high level Slayer monster, and they are a very good task for XP. They're very good combat XP as well. You'll get a lot of melee XP for killing these because they've got a lot of HP, which means they're good Slayer XP per kill as well. They're not multi-combat no matter where you go to kill them, so that does slow it down a bit. However, it is still decent Slayer XP because you can get quite a few kills in very fast, especially if you're using the method I show you in the video. So I need to show you the gear, etc. first, so let's get into the guide. Right guys, so for Dark Beasts, there is a couple of places that you can kill them. Now, the first one is in Kieren's dungeon, so obviously you'd get the task and you're straight in there, everyone knows where they are, and they're the last creature in, well, I think they're just before the Steel of the Nine Dragons, and you can kill them in there very easily. You know, in there you will just do the exact same method as here, however you'll not use a cannon, and in there it's a very AFK task, but it takes a very long time. You'll just want to do the exact same as you'll do here, so I just want to say that there. You'll do the same but without a cannon, and obviously here you will not be able to use a ferocious ring. So where I'll be killing them is using the teleport crystal. These are elf crystals that you can get from killing elves in Liletia, if however you say that. And to get the temple option you must have done within the light, and then you must talk to the person who recharges them, and she can add the option for you, and it'll be on all your crystals from then on. Now, if you haven't done within the light, you'll have to kill them in Kieren's dungeon, which is a bit slower of a task from in there. It'll take quite a while, but it's a very AFK and it's a very easy task to do in there. Now, for your setup, for your gear, that wise, it's just the exact same as you would with pretty much any other melee Slayer task. And you don't have to wear Goliath gloves, you can just wear barrows if you don't want to wait for them to degrade. How much am I not actually on? Slightly degraded, so this should last. You can use an aura, and now Reverence Aura, which is the prayer gaining one, might be very useful in this task, because as I said, it's quite a long task, depending on how many you get. If you get like the full 250, it can be a very long task, and this setup might not be enough. But really, you can just affect it however you need to, because depending how many you get. However, generally you want your 4 normal items, so you want your claws, ferocious ring, ring of slaying, just so you know how many's left. So I've actually checked my task. I've still got bears from when I did the little challenge a couple of weeks ago. And then the ferocious ring, which is just there to tell you back to Kieren if you've got enough to use them. Your Toggle Zoo, which is great access to a fairy ring, which is just, if I just teleport here, you'll just teleport to Fight Caves, and it's right there, as you'll see, just north up there. Very great item to keep in your invent, as it's very good also to get back to your Slayer Master if you haven't got enough ferocious ring teleports. Now, because obviously you just use them when you get a lot, and this will teleport right here, fairy ring, and you can teleport with BGQ straight to Kieren. Now, the cannonballs, these obviously for your cannon, common sense. Dragon's Medallion for when you want to teleport to Bloodveld tasks, I'll just keep it there ready. And then house tabs, which are great to get to your house to recharge at an altar, and recharge at prayer, at a sibling obelisk. I'm actually going to go and do that. Now, another thing I want to mention is the familiar. Now, I've got uni scrolls because I'm going to be using a unicorn. However, this task, since it's quite a while, you might run out of prayer pots. So as you can see, I'm actually bringing flasks for this task. I do recommend you do that. Now, I'm not. This might last you the task. Again, it depends on how long the task is, and if not, you might want to take a tortoise or a yak. Now, you'll probably have to take a spare yak or tortoise as well. Maybe, not always, but sometimes you will. As long as you get them out fast enough, you should be fine. And then you can just take 4 doses of prayer pots, and you should be fine with that. However, obviously, you won't have a unicorn then. And so for using that method, I recommend you must have Soul Split, or you're going to have to take some food in your inventory, and that's going to end up just clogging you up. It's just going to be a big mess. But this is the optimum setup, I'd say, using a unicorn, and you should be fine. So to get there, teleporting to the temple, you just use this. Now obviously if you go in the Kieren's dungeon, This is very easy, and you'll just teleport as you would going to your Fairytales master to get a task. Very simple, you just go in the cave and run around, obviously taking the shortcuts if you got them. So that's very simple, and you use the exact same tactic as you will here. Now, there's 2 spots. I'm going to just show you one of them because it's common sense just to use the other one. I just generally use the west one, but there is another spot if you go further up there. There is another spot up here, but however I like to use this one. Now, as you can see, there's many dog beasts around, and it's not multi-combat. But you want to set up your cannon about here. This is a great spot to set it up, as there's a lot around this area, and you don't want to be running. Every so often you will get attacked by the south one with the mage attack. Now, oh freaking hell! God damn it, Fairytales! That misclick right there. So, about the mage attack, it will do it at a far distance, but like rarely. So you want to set your cannon going. You want to have auto retaliate on. You don't want to have your mage spell on. You want to have that on. Just pot up as usual. And you want to be, for this one, you want to pre melee, because they can do a lot of damage. And I'll show you in the mage attack in a sec, if I can manage to get one to do it. So, being meleeed. But if that one over there did attack me, it would attack me with mage because it's far away. Sometimes they'll walk towards you, but sometimes they'll just use the mage attack, and it's very annoying sometimes, because you have to wait until you run towards it. Oh, there, you see that little fire attack? And this is the only damage you're going to take, and you didn't manage to get 2 in before I auto-retaliated and attacked it there. So that's the problem, and that's why you need the healing from the unicorn. However, if you haven't got a unicorn and you're using a yak for extra prayer pots, you're going to have to soul split, and that's just a simple, just turn prey melee off for a while, because your soul split will out heal your prey melee. Like any damage you take from melee will be healed as well, as long as you're in like decent defensive armor. If you're obviously in like a void or something, not going to work, is it? So very simple. This is what you do, and I'm going to see if it does happen, but every so often you'll get maged by one down here. This is very, very annoying, because you get dragged down there. There's also a rune rock there, which you can also mine every time it respawns while you're here, if you like, for a bit of extra money. Obviously it is like 11 gear, I think, something around that. As you can see, I got maged there. Now obviously you got auto retaliate, but when you do get maged, it takes ages to react on a mage hit, and it's much easier if when you see yourself getting maged to just click. Now these always stay aggressive. No matter how long you're here, these will be aggressive. So that's why it's such a great AFK task. Now, drops to note out for are obviously the dark bow. This is very cheap now compared to how it used to be though. But you do get quite a lot of Ring of Wealth drops here, I've noticed, and you get quite a lot of herbs. You can also take Bone Crusher to get the prayer XP off these bones, however, not really too important. And obviously the level 182, which will get you a few. They're not bad effigies. Pre-nerf, they were one of the best tasks. But obviously you can't expect to see an effigy too often nowadays, especially with the nerf. However, I have had 2 off Glaciers. I've been trying to get some boots, and so seriously, all I get is effigies. I want drops for my drop tab, and all I get is damn effigies, which aren't obviously a drop tab item. But yeah, I did get 20 mil rune crafting, as you can see, which I'm pretty happy with. I mean, obviously I'm not too big on getting XP after 99, but to get 20 mil rune crafting, although I haven't trained it, which is quite weird. So this is all you do in this task. Now, as I said, you can end up waiting too long for this task to end, and 2 sets of extremes may not be enough. So obviously you can take overloads, but I just tend to use extremes on Slayer because I don't see the point. But generally on Slayer I'd repot at 120. However, on this task, if you're only taking 2, you might want to wait a bit longer, estimating approximately how long. Just wait a bit longer. You don't want to run out of pots at the end of the trip. And also you can just take 3 for this task if you get a big long one, because you might be needed. But you're gonna struggle for prayer that method, and you may have to take the yak method. Flasks of before you pretty much had to use the yak. Like when I got 99 Slayer, I always used the yak and used Soul Split to heal. Soul Split is a very good healing item, healing prayer, and it really changes the way you train Slayer a lot. Like Black Demons, you can't take a uni, but you don't even have to take a uni. You can just Soul Split. And it's amazing the way you can still split without having to take any damage. So as you can see, I'm not actually taking that much from mage hits, but it does add up eventually, and you will have to use your unicorn every so often, but it's no problem. And as I said, you want to take a spare unicorn if you're on a long task, because it might take longer than like 50 minutes to an hour, depending on your stats and setup. Now, obviously, as I said, in Fairytales dungeon you will use the exact same method, just not a cannon. So all you want to do is pretty much run in there with auto retaliate on and let your character kill them, using a unicorn when you need. Now these do drop decent charms. They do drop quite a lot of blue charms, I've noticed all the time, and though one of the tasks where I did pick up charms still, before I got bored of picking up charms and didn't bother. But if you are looking for good charms, this is another good task. Although another thing to mention, these are a high level Slayer monster, so you do have a high Slayer requirement. I think it's 90, I'm not 100% sure, but that's why they are decent XP. They're very good combat XP as well. They're not too fast to kill, but they're decent Slayer XP because they've got a lot of HP. And if you watch the cannon, look how much damage it manages. Well, that was a bad example, but you just get a couple of hits in on each one, and as I'll try and show you now, it manages to hit quite a few like it'll sometimes hit 2 or 3 different dark beasts before you manage to get attacked again. So it has like a couple of seconds of multi-combat before one manages to hit you. So that is a little benefit of using the cannon, and the cannon does really easily, I'd say, almost halves the time of this task. Almost, maybe not half, but it cuts a long time with this task. So I hope this has helped you with the dark beasts if you've never done them in this area before. So I know a lot of people actually do them in Fairytales dungeon, and I'm always like, you cannon all these other tasks and you don't cannon dark beasts. But as you can see, I'm killing them a lot faster than you would in Fairytales dungeon. And obviously I haven't even got a Slayer helmet that works, because you know, I'm on no Slayer task right here doing this. Grant me dwarf feeder picking that shit up. So this is all you do until your task's over. And I hope this has helped you guys, and I will be doing another video tomorrow, which will be the live commentary Sunday. Now, I've got a few ideas for the topic from the comments, but not really so much on the bosses. Now, DKs is the one that's been thumbs up most. I'm going to do that, not this week. I think I will do that next week. Just, I've never done it before, and that'll be really interesting for you guys, I hope. Seeing someone go there for the first time. And I'm going to try and go there without using a guide. I'm going to have to use some sort of guide to learn like how to get there, because I'm not even sure. Like, I know I did it on the event, but I was just following a massive crowd, not taking notice of really where I was going. So yeah, that should be interesting. Oh, Ruined Chain. That looks really weird compared to how I used to. That's another loot that you can get here, and that they do add up to some money if you're picking up Slayer drops. So I hope this guide has helped you, as I've said about 10 million times, and I'll have the answers to the Q&A video out possibly Monday. I have had a quick read through the questions, and they seem quite interesting. I'm going to put the best ones into a notepad and probably send them to my friend to ask me in a video. So thanks for watching, guys. See you later.